brought to you by the People's National Party.
Make the trumpets play. Jamaican people want better. Economy coming like stormy weather. Ancestors are turning on them grave. To get champion, we can do it together. When we look to the future of precipice, we see Jamaica needs the vision of the PNP. People said the bag of promises, them can't carry go shop. And the crime rate getting higher, wonder when it does now come Rex. Jamaican people want better. Economy coming like stormy weather. Ancestors are turning on them grave. To get champion.
The proceeding was brought to you by the People's National.
The scale of dealing with anti-corruption issues. So there is a learning curve that we are going through. What is important is that the government supports the development of the institution so it can accelerate very quickly on that learning curve and provide the resources so that they can move very quickly on the learning curve, and that the government does not intervene or interfere. And that message goes to the opposition as well. Leave the anti-corruption and policing agencies to do their jobs. So why you come to me with that foolishness, you know? You elect a prime minister, and is a prime minister run the country. It is time we learn to hold our leaders accountable for their actions and stop making excuses for them. Stop making excuses. Otherwise, go elect the people who really run in the country. And I don't want the right start that stupid argument. Hold the people you elect accountable and stop making excuses for them.
All right. Well, my peeps, today is Friday, November 21st, and once again, I want to say big thanks, right, to all my subscribers, all my ardent listeners who continue to follow Mystic Sensation. And as I said, I mentioned all the time that, you know, you people provide me the strength and energy to continue, and I am so much grateful for that, right? In terms of, you know, how we bring certain process of disseminating information and educating our people as it relates to, right, building, right, a positive Jamaica. It's all about nation building. And so then when we come on here and we critique a government, right, we critique a government, right, because we want that government to perform in the interest of our people, right, because we are talking about upward mobility, building a nation, right, that is quite resilient, right, and have a strong economy, right? And so then this is what we're talking about when we're talking about also democratic socialism, right, that the wealth must spread, you know, equally, right, throughout the length and breadth of Jamaica. That is what we are saying. I am someone which you all know, right, I am not a supporter of capitalism, right, for the very same reason, because I don't believe that the economy should build from the top down. I don't have that political philosophy. My political philosophy is to build, right, from the bottom up, because you have to invest in the people, right? It is the people who are going to build the economy. And so then our education is important in terms of when we are investing in our education. Oh, Lonesome is calling me. Let me just accept a call from Lonesome.
Put it on mute.
Right.
Mute the thing.
Yes, Lonesome. All right. Me up on my live now. Me link to it later. You hear? Blessings, my brother. Cool. All right.
Here.
All right. Yeah, man. So that was Brother Lonesome giving me, right, a knock there. So as I am saying, people, my Jamaican people, it's all about building Jamaica, right, to be resilient, right, where we can compete across the globe, right? Because to me, Jamaica is the hub, right, of the globe, right, as it relates to a bubbling melting pot with the various culture, entertainment, and all sort of things, right, make Jamaica unique, right? I mean, if you travel, right, as how I travel, right, you will realize that the Jamaican culture permeated all over, right, and Jamaicans are all over the globe. But this little island, right, trust me, is a melting pot for the globe. Now, having said that, I am going to get back to the containers, right, as it relates to the Prime Minister wanting to fuse, right, those container homes into schemes, right? Is that a good idea? I honestly don't believe it's a good. As a matter of fact, I am going to prove some things today because I have done, right, surgical research, and here it is. Based on the research, it is saying no, it's not a good idea, period. And I am wondering that when the Prime Minister or government entities, right, making moves like this, are they doing any feasibility studies? Right? Are they doing any feasibility studies? One, we are in an hurricane belt. So what sort of feasibility study that you have done in terms of you want to put in, right, to interface, right, container homes, right? Now, you're in a hurricane belt, right? And obviously, you have to now anticipate, right? And now involve into certain particular building code to sustain, right, a category 5. You have to do it now because you have experienced a category 5. And it is not to say that, okay, this is going to be the last category 5 that we are going to be experienced. It's more likely that we are going to experience, right, whether in the near future or in the distant future, another category 5 based on the warming, global warming, right, is real. And the Caribbean basin is warming up, and you are seeing more aggressive systems building up and deliver their wrath. So then, as it relates to prudency, right, you have to make sure that, okay, all right, at category 5, you can't really do much to as it relates to the wind pressure. But what you want to mitigate circumstances, you understand, to ensure that, okay, with the particular flooding, right, that is going to come where you have a category 5, what are we going to do in terms of, reducing the impact of a category 5? Are we going to build bigger, more sustainable drain system, right? We have to go deeper and we have to go wider. Now, are we going to build better homes as it relates to the infrastructure of these homes, right, in terms of making these structures much stronger, right, going forward? You can't having a category 5 hurricane, and when you experience that, and you, the Prime Minister, had flown over the pathway of Hurricane Melissa, right? You are now reducing the structural standard. And not only that, are you making reference that you are going to put these containers within the pathway of the hurricane people? It's not funny. So I am going to share the research with you people. First, let me just go to this document in terms of reading as to what the Prime Minister stated, and then we are going to get into the research that I have done as it relates to container homes. It's a no. It's a no, right? And that is why I am wondering if the Prime Minister has done any feasibility study, right? It is time now that the Prime Minister need to step back and allow the technocrats, you understand, to make these decisions, right? That is what the Prime Minister need to do, right? Make the technocrats, you understand, lead on the respective front, right? Now, let us look at this, my Jamaican people. Let us go here, right, and share this information with you. Right? Now, this is what the let me just share this information here. Right? Now, the Prime Minister, Andrew Holness, has announced the creation of a new National Reconstruction and Resilience Authority, a statutory body. And I'm wondering now if the opposition, right, members, any opposition members are part of this new National Reconstruction and Resilience Authority. Because based on what I have seen, the Prime Minister seems like, you know, he want to do everything as it relates to, you know, him being highlighted, his party being highlighted, and he's more taking a partisan approach, right, as opposed to a bipartisan approach. So I'm just asking, I'm not saying that the opposition is not a part of this. I'm just asking because I don't know, right? I am just seeing this, right, that Prime Minister Andrew Holness has announced the creation of a new National Reconstruction and Resilience Authority. So I'm just asking if the opposition is a part of this. A statutory body that will take charge of the country's rebuilding efforts following the widespread devastation caused by Hurricane Melissa. And I really honestly believe that the opposition, you understand, should be a part of this, right? The Prime Minister made the disclosure during a media briefing on Tuesday, noting that the authority will be vested with special powers to lead, coordinate, fast-track national reconstruction, right? I don't understand how the Prime Minister want to fast-track national reconstruction, and the Prime Minister is talking about the purchases of construction homes, right, from China, and which they are going to take, right, I mean, probably a couple months, you understand, to reach Jamaica. But based on what the Prime Minister is saying here, you understand that this particular task force that he is now putting out to deal with these issues will be vested with special powers to lead, right, coordinate, and fast-track national reconstruction with a mandate to ensure greater resilience in the country's critical infrastructure. And that is what I'm saying, Prime Minister Andrew Holness, as it relates to the resilience in the country's critical infrastructure. So if you are going forward in terms of making these infrastructures more resilient, right, I am not understanding as to why you are utilizing container homes and want to interface them in housing schemes based on what you said. To me, right, it is just ludicrous, but that's my opinion. That's my subjective opinion. Now, Mr. Holness said the decision follows initial assessment, which indicate that the scale of destruction requires a unified, okay, you are saying it, a unified, empowered, and highly coordinated national response. Mystic Sensation is going to agree with you with that. So then if the mission, right, that you're going to take now, a unified approach, yes, you understand, Mystic Sensation is on board on that, because we have to put out the politics, right, and make sure that our Jamaican people comes first, right? We can't have any form of partisan approach, right, in terms of the reconstruction and the rebuilding actually of people's life, you understand, as it relates to, you know, making them becoming more resilient in terms of better infrastructures, making our infrastructure strong. And when we're talking about building our community, developing our community, we have to look on the sort of drains, that the drain system, because let me say, if you are not improving on your drain system, and when you look, because Hurricane Melissa, right, and Hurricane Beryl, which was 2024, right, should have now give you, right, all the experiences, right, when you look on the volume of water, right, and one of the reasons that we are flooded so much is to the fact that many of our drains, right, are blocked. So we can't wait until, okay, another hurricane is coming up on us, right? And a week or a couple of days prior to that hurricane reach landfall, if it is going to reach landfall, then we are now jumping around and, you understand, trying to clean drains and so forth. And there should be, Prime Minister, that there should be a sustained program as it relates to drain cleaning, right? Because you have seen, right, that 2024 near miss, right, with Hurricane Beryl. 2025, right? I mean, dead on hit, and you see the devastation. So then 2026, we don't know what is going to happen in 2026, right? And Jamaica will forever be in the hurricane belt. So that being said, Prime Minister, the decision process, the unification in terms of making us resilient, because you're saying everything great in here, so you know. But we know how you stay, Prime Minister. You speak of all the great things that people want to hear, but yet your actions are different. And we have all the evidence to show you that's how you are, right? And we know that's how you stay. You understand? You speak all the goodies. You give the people them all the goodies that you can give them. You understand? But your actions are different. So I'm just saying, as it relates to this, I hope your actions, right, really different, and going forward, right, you are talking about unified, empowered, a highly coordinated national response. So I hope you are serious, you understand, with what you have said, because our people need it more than ever, right? We are in dire strait right now, and we can't allow the politics, you understand, to overrun us. It is as plain and simple as that. Now, I am going to share now the information now with my Jamaican people as it relates to where you are going, right, with these container homes, right? Because trust me, based on my research, right, and I want other people, like, and I know I have civil engineer friends that I will be speaking to them later as well. So, right, in terms of what I'm going to say as it relates to my subjective opinion, right, I know that it is going to be an objective viewpoint in terms of what I am saying, right? Many of the technocrats will agree in terms of this research that I'm going to bring out right now. So people, look at this. Now, the Prime Minister stated that, okay, right, he's going to purchase over 5,000 container homes, right, from China, right, and to try to interface them, right, some of them in the housing schemes, right? That is a bad idea. That's a wrong idea. But guess what? Is it because of Melissa? Now, people, I want you to listen to me keenly. Is it because of Melissa why the Prime Minister, right, is so-called, let me use the word so-called, you know, so-called purchasing 5,000 homes from China? No. The Prime Minister have this plan way before Melissa. And I'm going to show it right now. The Prime Minister, and I don't know, right, as it relates to other people involved, right, that this again, right, based on my critical thinking skill, is it a situation that we are looking on another Edmund Ridge situation where the Prime Minister may have vested interests in these container homes, vested interests in these container homes, or is it that, you know, the Prime Minister also, that the Prime Minister, right, having business partners who link with the Jamaica Labour Party, right, associated with these container homes, and they really want to, right, sell it to the Jamaican people. This is how they make their money, right? Now, let us look at this to show the evidence that the container homes, right, is just not as a result of Melissa. No, they have been here from 2023. Let us look at this, my Jamaican people. Let me just share this information here and show you the evidence They have been here, and the Prime Minister trying to sell this a long time ago. So let us get into that, right? Let us get into that and share it, right? All right. Let us get into that. So this is evidence number one that the situation as it relates to the concept of container home has been around from 2023. Look at this, people. Let me share this.
Hello, future millionaires, and welcome back to my channel. I am Kayla K. Keen, and in this video, I am showing you something that I've never covered before, a container home here in Jamaica. Now, the Kingston Logistics Center has pioneered something totally amazing that you normally see in other countries, North American countries, but never here in Jamaica. So traditionally, we use containers for office spaces, but not housing. So they have built some houses from container, and you can benefit from that. It's right behind me. So follow me inside while we take a look around. All right, so we're going to take a look at the Ultra unit, which is a 2-container home, a 40-foot and a 20-foot container. It has 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom. Let's take a look. So we're on the patio now. Yes. So as you can see, it's a good enough design. The space is actually pretty good because I was thinking small. Every time I think of a container home, I think small.
No, well, we have 6 designs. So you have a wide cross section between the prices as well as the space that you're getting. You have the ultra options, which gives you more space, more rooms. And also you have the standard options, which may not give you as much space and rooms. However, all of them come with the insulation, with the tiling. They're all still nice. They still come with the cladding on the outside. So that even though you're buying a container home, it still is dignified. It still has that ultra chic look and feel.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like you're in any kind of a trailer trash kind of situation.
Right.
That is not what KLC upcycled container homes about. It's about dignified living and unboxing the dreams of our Jamaicans. Faster, easier, and smarter. And glass windows have been provided.
I have to test it out.
Yes, test it. The furniture is provided by Coach Jamaica Limited. They are strategic corporate partners for this initiative. And also the railings, glass, and doors provided by
so what I'm going to do,
windows and glass. Or
yes.
landscaping is provided by.
Right. Let me just stop share this. And right now, if you notice, my Jamaican people, the price point, look on the price point. I have done other research on the lowest price point. Let me talk to you now, Jamaican people. The lowest price point is $2.something million for the lowest price point, right? And we know that, okay, all right. When we look on how Andrew Owners had sold, right, Edmonton, right, Edmond Ridge, and Andrew Owners get into the Snake Islesman sort of behavior, and he sold it magnificently. He told you that, okay, all right, you know, it is for the future. right? It's better than the Operation Pride Home and the way Andrew Holness reminiscing and he sold it. He sold it quite well. And people buy into the vision, buy into the concept. But in reality, you have seen how a Category 5 now expose it. And what was exposed as it relates to Edmund Ridge, you understand, was inferior material. Inferior material. I am saying this, that don't listen to her selling point, right? Their selling point is going to be great. They are going to tell you it's amazing. It's not to dignified, right? Anyone and so forth. It makes living becomes an awesome living, and all of what they are selling. You understand? They are marketers, right? Andrew Holness himself is a marketer. You have seen how well he had marketed, you understand, Edmund Ridge, and you see, you understand that Edmund Ridge, right, material is inferior. You understand? And it's a terrible shame. You understand, as it relates to what befall the Prime Minister in marketing that. So now when we look on the container, right, and all the prettiness what they are selling. This is one of the reasons why I'm saying now, I am wondering if Andrew Holness have vested interests, right, in these container homes. Who are the persons behind this? You understand? I am going to do more research. Are the persons behind this? Right, because when Andrew Holness sell these container homes now, remember that we get catastrophe ban insurance, you know. All right, let me say this, people. I am just, as it relates to my critical thinking skill. Catastrophe ban insurance. Remember, this container concept was before Melissa. That is the point I am showing you, right? We don't know how much Andrew Holness behind this in terms of vested interests, getting benefits, right? Our persons who are running this program, right, will be getting, right, full payout as it relates to money. You understand, that being utilized for the catastrophe ban. You understand, and so then give their friends and cronies these contracts. You understand, in terms of doing these container homes. We don't know. But basically, as it relates to Andrew Holness, he cannot be trusted, right? And we know that, okay, this man is quite devious, right? But one thing we know for sure, that concept, as it relates to the container home, is not after Melissa. The concept was before Melissa. Even give us more suspicion to the whole thing. All right? Now, let us dig into it. What we want to do now, right? Because we don't want people to say, okay, all right, the Prime Minister is trying to help out in giving a quick fix. And then here, Mystic Sensation on his platform, you understand, hanging the Prime Minister. Anything the Prime Minister does, right? Mystic Sensation always critique the Prime Minister, right? And critique the Prime Minister negatively. No, it is not that. We are talking about the safety of our people and how best taxpayers' dollars can be utilized. Now we have NHT housing program, right? And if you utilize NHT housing program, right, you can put back many, right, people to work, you understand, within the construction industry, right? That is a good way, you understand, in kickstarting the economy, giving back, you understand, building purchasing power among these people who work within the construction industry. And remember, your price point as it relates to the containers, the price point begin at $2.3 million in terms of the research. So let me ask a question. Let us all ask a question. You're going to tell me that $2.3 million, right, cannot build a strong structural concrete structure home to give to our people, particularly those who are Melissa victim. Now let us use common sense. Let us utilize some common sense here. You are going to tell me that, okay, all right, which one of the program is better? If you take taxpayers' money, right, and you spend millions of it, right, and strengthen China economy, you're going to be purchasing that from China. China economy is going to be strengthened in terms of the money that you are spending, that we are spending to China. Okay, let me give another idea now. If you now utilize the NHT program, right? Because NHT has many programs, and you utilize the one that best suited as it relates to what you are doing in terms of wanting to get up and running with the economy, right? And deal with some quick out solutions, right? And you sit with the technocrats, right? And you have and say, okay, all right, let us utilize this NHT program. When you look on the cost factor as it relates to if we go concrete and we do feasibility study as it relates to the appropriate building code, right, against a category 5 hurricane. And what I mean is, okay, you have seen what happened with Hurricane Melissa, right? Obviously, you have seen the level of destruction as it relates to structural damage and all of that. The country has to now be prepared to have new building codes. Building codes that have some sense of feasibility, some sense of sustenance. You understand? Against a category 5. You have to now try to design so you get now in touch with your technocrats, right? Reason with your technocrats, done research. You understand? As it relates to the wind pressure and what your structures can sustain category 5 based on the wind thrust of 185 miles per hour. So let us reason now before we get into the research and show you say what you are doing is not feasible. So then, okay, if you used to, when you look on a country on a concrete structure, and you said, okay, all right, how was this concrete structure, right, built from the ground up? All right, you look and you see that the sort of mountain that you use, right, might be 1/2-inch steel, right, and you see that, okay, all right, the category 5 based on the direction of the wind and how it impacted. You understand? It was able to crumble it quite easy. Now, what are you going to do? You know, okay, all right, you have to step up your building code. No, say go. We just use common sense. You understand? Me no civil engineering. You understand? Me just use a common sense perspective. So then, okay, if you used to use maybe a 1/2-inch steel to run your mountain, maybe you want to step up, you understand, to a 1-inch, a 2-inch, you understand, for ground mountain. You understand? I don't know. The civil engineer them would have to deal with that. You understand? Based on what they have seen in terms of the experience of the hurricane, in terms of reshaping new building code, you understand, to sustain, you understand, or to mitigate, you understand, devastating damages, right? That is my point I am bringing across, right? Now, let us look and see, all right, the cost that you have for the container homes. $2.3 million for starter homes. Andrew, $2.3 million for a starter concrete structure could give you easy a 2-bedroom house. Could easy give you a 2-bedroom solid concrete structure. Could easily give you that. Right? So then you have to prioritize as it relates to, okay, and number one, again, if you use the NHT program, it's a win-win situation, you know. Win-win situation because said, all right, you are going to take money from the catastrophe insurance to do that. I don't know where you're getting the money from, you know. I'm just, you know, thinking as I go along. Right? So they are going to take money from the catastrophe insurance. Right, hold on. I'm getting a call. Let me take this call. Right. Yes, caller. You're on Mystic Sensation. Go ahead.
Yes. Good afternoon, Mystic, and good afternoon to you, girl.
Yes.
Hey, Mystic.
Yes.
I want to point out something to you, you know, Mystic.
Yes.
You see some of them body are onto a farm already, Mystic.
Yes.
Some of them body is irrelevant.
Yes.
And I'm gonna tell you why.
Yes.
You see the building code to build according to the disaster.
Yes.
You have that already.
Okay.
You have that already. But what is the problem?
Yes.
That we're having is that the same people who are supposed to oversee, like perfect example, Edmund Ridge. An Edmund Ridge project should not have been part have been inspection from the moment you dig the foundation to the moment you put in the money. There should have been inspection. So when you see buildings are ripping apart like this, the people who are in charge are not working. It's no different from what we are looking at.
All right.
We're seeing that.
So
We're seeing that. Let me say this, Mystic. We are seeing that a lot of the roads that were built by whoever built them, but they were supervised and supposed to be checked out by the National Work Agency. A lot of these roads were not constructed properly. And if you believe I'm lying, let them show you right now roads that they are building this thing. When you look, you don't see any drains on the side of the road. You don't even see they cut off the edge of the asphalt when they lay it. And when they don't find and you see them do it, them cut off the edge. If you look on the highways, you can't see the drain them and some little small hole. Or some pipe where you use in a house. Those are the small pipes we have. So a lot of the problems that we're having is that the technocrats, they don't have any voice. They are giving paperwork to sign off on anything that the government does, and nobody is being held accountable. When it comes to these container houses now, Mystic, look at this now. Most poor people don't use $3 million or give it $2.5 million to buy material. If you drop those material right now to those people, Mystic, I guarantee you, those houses will be built for less because the people will work on it and the money will circulate. But no, that's not what the Prime Minister wants. The main goal here is to distribute the money to the people who can circle the money back round to the JLP. I tell people this already, you know. With the 28 members that the PNP have, the hardest thing for them to do is to get money from the government, even if it's not a natural disaster. Because Andrew Holness thinks that everybody is like them, the money is set up to circulate back to them. And that's why we're having these problems. We're not getting any accountability from ODPM. Up to now, they cannot tell us how many tons of food aid was brought into the country. And it's there on a manifesto, on an airway bill. Why you think the government is not interested in setting up all these permanent shelters right now, or temporary shelters? When you look at the ones that are being set up right now, are being run by the government, the same people are complaining that they don't have enough food. So the road is clear, the people are there, but they're not getting any assistance. Or they're not getting any assistance. When you look at the Jamaica Defense Force, how many tents did you see the Jamaica Defense Force pitch? The only thing Jamaican police force have is guns. They don't have anything else. Nothing else. They don't have anything else. This man don't want me pass.
Okay.
They don't have anything else, Mystic. Nothing else they don't have. The Jamaica Defense Force is just here. They
Yes.
couldn't pitch one field hospital.
Well, I mean, what you're saying, Carla, is really deeply concerning. And let me tell you why. Because you're highlighting the corruption, right? The nepotism, the cronyism, and the skullduggery of the Jamaica Labour Party. Because what you're saying is that it is not like you don't have effective building codes. Yes, they are effective building codes. But as a result of corruption, they have been circumvented, right? And you're not having proper inspection and all of that. Because you know what? Carla, let me just also remind you. Remember the situation with Juliet Holness building that she was building.
That's what I was about to tell you.
Yes.
That's a perfect example.
That's a perfect example.
Prime Minister too.
Yes.
It come to the Prime Minister building and it come to the man who was heading the water commission.
That is Norman Brown. Oh,
No,
no. Okay, no, not Brown. I know who you're talking. I know who you're talking. Yes.
So that just goes to tell you that once you are in certain positions,
Yes.
the people who are supposed to be the experts, you have taken away their voice. And the reason why the people don't have any voice is because whether people like to admit it or not, most of the people in Jamaica are appointed by the Prime Minister. Most of the people are appointed by the Prime Minister. And if you don't do what the Prime Minister says, one call and then pull the plug and you don't have any job. One call, Mystic, and then pull the plug and you don't have any job. And that's what they don't realize.
Well, my brethren, everything that you are saying, right, is true. And we have evidence of that. It is not like you're talking out of terms. So I want to, for the people who are listening, you understand in terms of what the caller is identifying. And as we mentioned, right, it happened to Andrew Holness, right, property, right? It happened to Juliet Holness property, circumventing the rules, the building codes. That's
all right. Let's look at this, Mr.
Yes.
They weren't circumventing the rules, right? Why the person who is in charge
Yes.
of passing those projects, right?
Yes.
Here's my field. Why that person don't get fired? You know why that person don't get fired? And
Yes.
at the time, why they don't get fired? Because there's a chance that one of them might leak whatever conversation
Yes.
they had. Why it went down.
Yes.
It's the same problem we had with the SSC board,
Yes.
We pay these people millions of dollars,
Exactly.
And none of them.
All right, hold on the caller because I see Vivina calling. Vivina want to say something. So let me just touch base with Vivina. But what you are saying, solid point. You understand? We are going to speak about your points. But let me all right, Vivina, if you are listening to me, just call back.
You want me to hang up with Vivina call?
Yes, she call back. All right. Thank you. Yeah, man, what the caller is saying, man, is really serious. Yes, Sister Vivina. Right, you're on Mystic Sensation Live. Please go ahead.
Hi.
Yes.
Are you hearing me?
Yeah, man, loud and clear. Loud and clear.
Yes, Mystic, if I love you guys anymore.
We love you too, man.
God. Mystic, listen to me. I'm kind of nervous. I never usually call and talk out here, but this is what I have to say.
Yes.
Everything that's been talked about right now, isn't it the opposition side should bring this up in Parliament?
Well, they have been doing that, right? Because I can show you evidence in terms of concerns, right, that Mark Bolin has, and not only that he has concern, he has voiced his opinion, right, against all of these issues.
Okay, I understand that. Yes, I listen keenly all the time.
Yes.
Now, this what we're talking about now, especially what that last caller was talking about.
Yes.
We need to get it in Parliament about this thing that is what to do with the containing homes. We need to get it out there.
Yes.
Mark needs to, I don't know how it works, but when they stand up and them talk and not asking questions, they need to talk about these homes and say, look, it's not safe.
Yes.
While he's in the Parliament too, look him in the eye, look straight towards him and say, this is why it cannot work.
Well, I am going to show them this morning why it can't work, because I'm going to show the people the research.
I hope somebody's watching you, which we know everybody's supposed to watch you.
All right.
But I hope to God one of them is watching.
Yes.
So it could get back to Mark to say, stand up in a Parliament, look him in the face and say, look here, this now go work and it can't work.
No, it can't work. As a matter of fact, sister, based on the research, it is showing you that if Andrew Wellness proceed with this and particularly put those home as it relates to the corridor of Melissa, right, it is going to be a death trap. Death trap. You're going to see in terms of when I start to go through, right, the research, Google search.
All right, so let me get off the air
All
and
right.
show us
Okay.
so it could get out there.
All right. Blessings,
I
my
love
sister.
you guys so much, and thank you guys for everything you're doing for us.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate you calling. Right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right. Now, as it relates to, what the previous caller said, right, that the rules, right, and regulation pertaining to the building codes have been circumvented even by, right, our own prime minister, right? We have seen evidence where that happened with the prime minister wife as well. So we are not telling any lies, right? And so then these are the situations that happen. As a matter of fact, we see recent evidence with the home that the prime minister marketed. The prime minister himself marketed Edmund Ridge. And so then when you look at it, you wonder, what is happening as it relates to the prime minister, where the prime minister interest lies. It appears to me that the prime minister interest lies in just, filling his pocket, greasing his pocket more and more, right? And you have seen where the prime minister caught up in terms of, his wealth. He cannot explain. You understand? It's just corruption. And the country cannot prosper and will never able to prosper, right, if the prime minister continue to be like this. The administration, the entire administration continue to be like this because they are endangering the lives of people. Seriously. Now, let us get to the research and let me show something. So what I did in terms of, having seen the prime minister, right, hell-bent, right, because he did not, the concept was way before burial, which I had proven that as it relates to 2023, right? But you see now the prime minister now is now try to use under the disguise of Melissa, now trying to now put back the context, the situation forward, right? And so then in pushing back the concept forward, of course, we are much critical because guess what? It is not because of Melissa. We know that that concept was out there. But look, people, so I done a research on Google. And what I did, I said, okay, all right. I want a research where Google search engine can search all the websites, right, that speaks about the safety as it relates to what can a hurricane category 5, right, can a container home, right, withstand that. That was the reason for the search. Yes, it said it can withstand it, but it comes with some key update that needs to be done before they can consider it to be as safe. Anyway, they said specifically it is not hurricane proof. They say that. But I'm going to show you what needs to be done for the safety of that. And guess what? Based on how Andrew Holness is putting those structures, no, it is a death trap. So I want particularly, you understand, for Andrew Holness to be listening this. Now, let us get into, right, the research, right, and show you people in terms of what I have done. What happened to this mouse? Oh my goodness, this mouse is a problem. Okay, all right. Let us get into this, people, because I want to make sure that my people make the right decision and not expose themselves to danger. So let us get into, of course, the AI overview. All right, so let me share that information as it relates to the Google search engine. Now, A container home can withstand a Category 5 hurricane if it is properly anchored and reinforced. So I want you to listen now, people. You understand? So the Google search engine now is answering me as according to the search. As a steel shipping container is strong enough to withstand high winds. However, there's no however. The home's overall safety depends on crucial factors like anchoring to a solid foundation. So then it has to be anchored to a solid foundation. That is important in the people. Reinforcing any structural modification. You hear what needs to be done? Reinforcing any structural modification and accounting for other threats like storm surge. Come on, look at that now. And flying debris. Now, watch out, people. Critical factors for a container home to withstand a Category 5 hurricane. Look what has to be done now. Anchoring. A container must be securely bolted to a robust foundation. And when it said robust foundation, mean that the foundation has to be extremely strong, such as a concrete slab or piers to prevent it from shifting or being swept away by high winds. Want to hear that? So if it's not structured properly, if it's not anchored properly, you will see that the high wind will turn it over. Will take it up, lift it up, and carry it where it's going. Now, structural integrity. Hear the problem now, people. Listen to this now. Cutting into the steel for windows, doors, or other openings can weaken the structure. Want to hear that, people? Let me read that over. Structural integrity. Cutting into the steel for windows, doors, or other openings can do what? Weakening the structure. These modifications must be properly reinforced with steel framing to maintain strength. All right, let me take this away, and we are going to number 2, right? Where the search continues, right? Let us get up back that, because I want to save my people, I want to save my people from Andrew Wallace, as a matter of fact. Let me talk that plain. No. Look at this now. So the search continue, people. AI overview 2. Let us get into that now. Now, reinforcement. The home's walls and roof can be reinforced with additional steel bracing or beams to increase resistance against extreme wind loads. None of what Andrew Wallace is recommending, right, have that. Now, wait. A fully loaded container is less likely to be moved by wind than an empty one, as the weight adds stability. Now, watch this now. Elevation. This is very important to the people. We have to listen to this. Elevation. Elevating the home on a pier or pile foundation is crucial in coastal areas to protect against storm surge, flooding. People, let me read back that over, because that is very, very serious. So when Andrew Wallace is talking about container homes, right? Andrew Wallace administration need to do a feasibility study. Because look here, elevation. Elevating the home on a pier or pile foundation is crucial in coastal areas to protect against storm surge flooding. Remember when Hurricane Melissa hit Jamaica, you have storm surge where the wave was hitting like 13 feet in some areas, in some instances, in higher. Now imagine now, my friend, that you get caught into a container home, and where that water pressure, the volume of water, 13 feet, that would have covered that container, there's no escape. That is a death trap. So then if you have, say, 50 container home, in an area, lay bare on a flat surface, and you have to deal with a storm surge. You understand? Where it measure over 12, 13 feet and cover those containers, and you are in them. There is no escaping. You must get in. If you caught up with a storm surge, and you have 50 containers laid flat and said, these are container homes, right? It is sure death. Because you are inside and the volume of water, right, that pushes against that container, how are you going to open it to come out? How are you going to open that to come out? And you need to consider these factors. Other threats, beyond wind, consider the risk of flooding, storm surge, and flying debris. The home's design must also account for these factors. And occupants should always have an evacuation plan. Want to hear that, people? Professional consultation is highly recommended. Consulting with an architect or structural engineer is essential to ensure the home is built to withstand the specific codes and conditions of your area. Let me stop from sharing this. And let me talk to the people then. Right? Because some people who believe that, okay, all right, dressing up the container homes, right? Just like how Andrew Honest dress up Edmund Ridge, right? And you might see looking however it want to look, right? Because they don't look beautiful to me, right? This is a potential danger. You see all the factors as it relates to strengthening those structure, right? As it relates to the containers. Now, it tells you that, again, when it comes to coastal areas, if you're going to put those containers in coastal areas, right, it have to build on a high point. You understand? To avoid flooding. Now, if you're doing a feasibility study and you see all these things, why would you still want to continue a container home? Because by you to do strengthening of structure, you understand, put it on a strong foundation, why not just do the right thing with NHT, where you can offer jobs to many youths, and it's going to be far lesser? Because to consider now to make it becomes so according to being approved as it relates to the hurricane category 5, and you have to build a firm structure, a firm concrete structure, firm concrete structure, right? Which is going to cost more if you are going to do that. So then, if you are not going to do the feasibility study and you're not going to make them the way as our professional recommend you to make them, and you are telling Jamaicans now to buy into those homes and owners, and you are not going to provide any form of additional structural strength, you are killing our Jamaican people. You are putting them into a dead zone. That is my understanding. You are putting them into a dead zone, and you can't have that. We are not going to take the risk of that. So now let us talk about now the hurricane pathway of Melissa. Are you planning, right, to utilize these homes, container homes, right, in scheme area in the very pathway of Melissa, and you are not going to do the structural improvement on them? That is a problem, because based on what I am looking on here, if you don't do those structural improvements, so it is not about, okay, all right, container home, you build a little thing and you just put them down. You just put them down and people just, buy into it and live into it. You will be killing people. You will be definitely, no two way about that, killing our Jamaican people. So then you have to understand in terms of, okay, come out, Andrew Honest, if you are going to speak about container homes, what we want Jamaicans to do, journalists to do, is to ask you about a feasibility study done on them as it relates to the safety, you understand, relating to Jamaica location within the hurricane belt. You understand? What is the feasibility study on them to ensure safety for our people to live into these homes? Do you have any feasibility study on it, Andrew Honest? Am I asking the question? Am I asking the wrong question? Am I too judgmental? Right? Because one of the first things that the Prime Minister need to consider is the people's safety. Right? You don't want to create what we call a community entrapment. You understand that mean when you have a hurricane, you understand, a category 4 or category 5 hitting Jamaica, you understand, people who live in those homes, you understand, as it relates to ice surge, flood water going over 12 or 13 feet, you understand, they will be killed. They will be killed easily. So then, right, you have to now show us the feasibility studies as it relates to the technocrats who involved, civil engineers, you understand, who will give you, right, that sort of go ahead to say, okay, all right, this particular area is sort of conducive to what you want to do, right? And all these container houses, right, need to be structured. The structural strength within these, right? You can't just get up out of the blues. Say they are going to take 5,000 container homes from China. I don't know if it makes sense, you know. People, if it makes sense in a chat, type if it makes sense. Type yes if it makes sense. Because I don't know if I make sense. I am just concerned about my people to know that, okay, if you are going to do this, some feasibility studies need to be done as it relates to the safety of these people facing, you understand, a hurricane 4 or hurricane 5, right? So when you look at that, that is very serious and concerning where that situation is concerned, right? You can't just, okay, all right, having container homes and people get into those homes. It is just not safe. In the meantime, you know, for anyone who want to call in and speak, you understand, call and speak, right? Now, let us get into some things here, right? And this is what I'm going to show, right? I want you to listen to this, my Jamaican people, because I keep on repeating myself as it relates to the status in terms of where we are at with the aftermath of Melissa. One key important is critical for our success, and we must not overlook that. Andrew Honest must not overlook that. And as I speak, I am not seeing any effort from the Jamaica Labour Party administration making the effort, right, to work in a cohesive way with the opposition, right? And that is very serious. I'm going to play a clip where the people from the World Bank, right, is also speaking in terms of ensuring that we are working together. Now, let me get to that, because that is critically important, you know, right? If we want to bring back, have the economy up and running very fast, right? And remember, let me tell you something, Jamaica, which is surprising right now. I look on the data before I came on live, and they are saying now the total damage in terms of, you understand, the amount of money that it's going to take to build back Jamaica has now gone to 1.3 trillion US dollars. You hear what I say, people? 1.3 trillion dollars. That is more than 40% of our GDP. So the economy suffer a huge impact many people, I can guarantee you, are not going to be able, right, to really come back from such damages. But I am not the person or the bad bearer of bad news, right? I am just doing, right, the information. But let us just get to this in terms of sharing, and you listen and hear what this person is saying. And, you know, these are people who, the World Bank and so forth. Let us listen to this, my Jamaican people.
On the response since Hurricane Melissa, and then we will have our Prime Minister speak after that, and then we'll go to questions from the media. So first up, we have Lilia, who is going to do the damage assessment. A lot of people are wondering what's the cost. We know it's a whole heap, but Lilia is going to be much more refined in that. And so over to you, Lillian. It's really good to have you here, and thank you to the World Bank Group and all the other international development partners for all the support you have been giving Jamaica. We really do appreciate it.
Thank you for inviting me. Do we have the presentation? Do we have the presentation? Yeah. So I would like to start with saying that this assessment is part of the World Bank collaboration with the Inter-American Development Bank and the United Nations Economic Commission for Latin America and the Caribbean, ECLAC. It will inform a more detailed evaluation of damages and economic losses, which is being led by the Planning Institute of Jamaica and includes the partners that I just mentioned. Before presenting the results, it's important to establish what this assessment is and what this assessment is not. So GRADE, Global Rapid Post-Disaster Damage Estimation, is a remote approach that uses sophisticated techniques like catastrophe modeling, satellite imaging, social media to estimate the direct cost of damage in a short time, in a matter of 2-3 weeks, to inform early decision making. Results are given by parish and by 4 asset classes. These are residential, non-residential, infrastructure, and agriculture. However, the GRADE assessment only assesses physical damage. It does not consider economic losses, and it does not consider the additional costs for building better. It's only like-for-like replacement costs. The GRADE methodology, which the World Bank has developed and used across the world, is meant to support early decision-making in the aftermath of shocks and events. And it actually delivers quite a high level of accuracy of about 90%. Very quickly about the data we used: scientific event data, vulnerability data, remote sensing data, historical damage data, built assets data, census and socioeconomic data, and reported damages in the official sources, media, and social media. Okay, and now the key results. The total cost of damage is estimated at $8.8 billion US, which is 41% of the gross domestic product of Jamaica in 2024. As I said, this number assumes only physical damage. The economic damage will, of course, be also large, and often from our experience, it's even larger than the physical damage. But this will be estimated later when the DALA assessment is completed.
Okay.
Parishes
I just want to stop there as it relates to what she's saying, right? And that is only based on physical, right, damages, right? Now for later show, I am going to show you, right, as it relates to the total damage that she's talking about and factors in everything that is now at 1.3 trillion United States dollars. But that is for later show because I always put it later for greater, right? We are going to break it down. But what was important in terms of what she communicated is early decision making. Early decision making, right? And unity in doing that. Very critical. Very critical. Now, goes back to what, right? I continue to be saying that, look, the critical mistake that Andrew Owner's administration had done up until this point and have not changed is to choose to foot this by them own, right? And don't involve as it relates to the opposition. Remember, Mark Golan had spoken about, right, a task force, a giant task force, right, that need to be up and running. And that task force should involve the opposition, should involve PSOJ, should involve, right, civil society, right? And so that critical thinking skill, you understand, can be fused, right? And decision making can be passed quickly in a unified manner, right? To mitigate some of the damages, right? As it relates to controlling, right? The spread of, you understand, bacteria, right? Getting food supplies to people who, right, trapped and where the government, right, cannot access, and take out the partisan politics in terms of not just looking on areas where you know those are strong GLP zones, right? And you want to make sure you are taking care of them and you are not taking care of, right, PNP zones. Remember, everyone is paying tax. The GLP, right, supporters are paying tax. The People's National Party supporters are paying tax. Jamaicans in general, whatever P you are, right, we are all paying taxes. We are all paying our taxes. So now when you have, right, a situation like this that's supposed to bring us together, it's important for us to have that collaboration, to have that political census, to have balance, and to create transparency, right, to get the work done and done it. Remember, you know, the economy, you understand, is now falling into the abyss, and trust me, going down very fast. What you need, right, good decision-making process. Now, this is how leadership is extremely important. Extremely important. Where the leadership need to recognize, you understand, what are the factors in terms of we not getting there, you understand, in adequate time frame, you understand, so that our economy can at least looking on the up and up. What are the decision-making process for us to inject, you understand, in our in the persons, right, to at least trigger some purchasing power? That is what I'm saying now, going back now, if we utilize NHT programs, right, to put some of Jamaican workers out there who are under the umbrella of the construction program. You understand? These are providing purchasing power, right, to them. Many Jamaicans, and you're dealing with employment at the same time, simultaneously, as opposed to politicians, you understand, you know, you with your autocratic policy just take over, and the only thing you're looking on, you understand, is to use the people's circumstances, you understand, to make more money in your pocket. Because that is what I'm seeing you doing, right? Because now, I mean, without a feasibility study, we are going with container program. No, we are going with container house. And you have not done any feasibility study on it. Right? So people need to stand up to you. You understand? People need to ask these questions. Have you done any feasibility study? Now let us show you the importance in terms of working together. You understand? So that things can be up and up. You understand? Because what you don't realize, Andrew owners, that, right, as it relates to the pathway of Melissa, the workforce is crippled. The workforce is crippled. So then, let me just get into that and show you now. I am going to show you as it relates to a political wisdom. And the political wisdom is sent to you that, look, put out the partisan politics, please. But are you going to listen to the political wisdom? Particularly if the political wisdom is coming from the People's National Party. By the way, that's where most political wisdom spring from. Anyway, you understand? But I think you should listen, because this is not the time for partisan politics. Let us get into the political whiz, right? And hear what the political whiz has to say, right? Let us get into that, right? And I think, Mr. Wallace, right? Take the advice, please, right? Take the advice, right? Let me get into that. Okay, let us see what we have here. What is this? I didn't get that. Okay, let us share this. Right, let us hear what the political whiz has to say.
Get a fabric that brings together all the elements that constitute national life. This is no time for division. It's neither green nor orange. We are all in this together. What I want to really convey is that out of this disaster has come a compelling necessity. Some would even say an opportunity to do whatever we have to do in those areas very differently. And I'll give you some simple examples. For how much longer can we continue to do our utilities by wire? We have looked at it before. To put it underground is a very, very costly and expensive exercise. But if every year we're going to have to do a replacement of our wires, we're going to reach a stage where we might just as well have invested, made a start in a certain area by doing what we have to do. I'm not in this interview going to dwell too much on the relief aspect, except to say that from my experience over the years, I understand the magnitude of the task and the challenges which any administration faces in responding everywhere at the level which is required. And precisely because of that, it is essential that considerations of politics and of religion don't make what is already difficult totally impossible.
Okay, well said, Mr. Patterson. Right now, what Mr. Patterson, right, is speaking about is the essence of unity as it relates to a time like this. And so then when we have situations like this, there shouldn't be no essence, no resemblance, any at all, as it relates to partisan politics. What we need to understand is that the election gone, the campaigning done. You have to now deal with a situation that faces you. And where Jamaicans are suffering. The Jamaicans are suffering, right? Has no time to think about GLP. Has no time to think about PNP. Some of the experiences that people felt in terms of looking on that moment that, my God, my life is going to be ended. There was no GLP come into the focus. There was no PNP come into the focus. What comes into the focus is deliverance. They want to be delivered from that deadly monster. So they're now going forward as it relates to, right, working together, which you have not done yet. And this is one of the reasons why we are saying it to you, Anjo. It is critical. It is critical. Right? And so then working together is going to be the answer. So the people from the World Bank is saying that. PJ Patterson is saying that. Critical thinkers are saying that. And one of the things that I love as it relates to what the World Bank lady stated, and which you all have heard, that their data collection, right, came from what? Right, overview from satellite, social media, right, as it relates to video that we show, evidence that we show, right? World Bank did not take the option that we are spewing false news, false narrative, and all of that, right? Because they themselves, critical thinkers, right? When we speak of whatever, right, we speak about, right, we have the source in terms of the information to show it. And I find it highly ridiculous for the Prime Minister, right, to speak of some of us, you understand, as it relates to the misinformation and disinformation, and what we are using, the Prime Minister is using the very same thing. Sorry, the Prime Minister is using mainstream media. We are using mainstream media, right? The Prime Minister is making a reference of history. We are making reference of history. So then the Prime Minister cannot be saying, okay, don't listen to them, right? Because they are spewing false narrative. But at the same time, the Prime Minister is using the same medium we are using. It doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. And so then this is why we have to come out, right? It's just that mainstream media is not good. The difference that social media is creating as it relates to the wave of impact in terms of listenership and people now listening to social media, because mainstream media, they are censored. They are censored. A Mystic Sensation or a Wayne Lonesome, right? A Melting Pot, right? When we come out with evidence and we speak in length. We give subjective opinion, right? And where your subjective opinion is either going to bear fruit, right, in, of course, deciding on the factor of objectiveness. And what we are saying many of the times, even though, right, my subjective opinion lend in that interaction, right, many of the times, it now becoming an objective view based on evidence. And that is what people want to see, you understand, as it relates to mainstream media, right? Asking the questions, right, that needs to be asked. You understand? If the Prime Minister says something like, okay, all right, he's going to deal with container homes and so forth and so forth, why not ask the question, Prime Minister, have you done any feasibility study as it relates to the experience of the hurricanes that you have been getting in the region? The Caribbean basin is warming up based on the science. And it simply means from the Caribbean basin is warming up based on the science. It simply means that we are going to get more aggressive system. So then, Prime Minister, you cannot, going forward, you understand, weakening the structure of development. And said you're preparing, you understand, for future category 4 and category 5. You cannot be doing that because that is ludicrous. You cannot work in back way and you think that you're doing good. And what you need to do, Prime Minister, let me say this categorically, and guess what? It's not me alone is saying. It is time for you to ease back yourself. Remember, you know, you just have a political science degree, you know. You claim you have a PhD, you don't really have a PhD. You only have, you understand, a political science degree. You understand, a social science. You understand, I have a criminal justice degree. You understand? And we have to deal with certain things. Right? And so then your social science, you're limited. You're limited in scope. But you are not telling yourself that you're limited. You're very limited in scope. So then you need to ease back. You can't, listen me, Prime Minister. Look, you are, let me say this to you, because honestly, you really don't get it. You are not the brightest bulb in the classroom. No. As a matter of fact, your bulb dim. You are just not the brightest bulb. Right? So then I am saying to you, and trust me, people know that. Step back. Allow the technocrats to do their jobs. Allow the technocrats to do their jobs. You're meant, and that is one of the reasons why, Prime Minister, right? It should be a standard practice that if you're under investigation, you should take away yourself. Because what you're doing more corruption. You're corroding the system. Remember, you know, when it comes to building codes and certain things, remember, say, you, you know, Prime Minister, you, you know, Mr. Owners, you have broken them by yourself. So then let me ask you a question. What sort of examples are you setting, sir? Not only you had broken them, your wife has broken it openly. Go back to what I'm saying. What sort of example are you setting? You decided that you are not going to sign the code of conduct and you influence your men them not to sign the code of conduct. Go back to what I'm saying. Sir, what sort of example are you setting? So then, what sort of leader are you? That you need to command, take the bull by the horn, and lead from the front. By doing what? Doing the right thing. Set the right example. So that your subordinates can follow. But what sort of example are you setting? You are now awarding bad actors, giving order of distinction to bad actors. What sort of example are you setting? Right? Am I not critiquing you in a very constructive way? Because if me never see you give Christopher Tufton the order of distinction and me know say Christopher Tufton damaged the healthcare, I won't say anything about it. I wouldn't be saying anything in terms of you giving Glasspool Brown order of distinction when we know that Glasspool Brown is part and crony who stole the election. I wouldn't be saying anything about that. And it is going to even make it much clearer when you lose to Paul Buchanan. Right? So what Glasspool Brown is going to come out and say? That the court got it wrong? Is that what he's going to come out and say? So we are just anticipating that judgment. Stand by. Now let us get into more in terms of unity that we are talking about, and we are appealing this morning for the level of unity that ought to be done, because that is the way of Prime Minister. Let me come again. I've seen you, Let me talk to my Jamaican people. You drape up ADPEM. But let me give Jamaican people a history before ADPEM. You remember that the PAC and the PAAC, you drape it up and take it from the opposition. And you know what, Prime Minister? The very same name and blame strategy that you use on the opposition to take away the PAC and the PAAC, you come back and use for ADPEM. No, Prime Minister, you come back and use for ADPEM. That's even Bruce Golding went against you. Bruce Golding told you that it is wrong, and it challenged the very art of democracy. Allow me to tell Prime Minister, Bruce Golding came out and spoke and said what you have done is wrong. It challenged the very art of democracy, because that goes to checks and balance. That is not the only thing you have done, Prime Minister. Section 53, subsection 3, you muzzle the Integrity Commission, because you don't want them to speak out, You have done that, So I could go through the history in terms of how you cripple checks and balance. You got into power, and your aim, right? Let us give the people the history. When Mark Golding said, okay, all right, let us move to additional layer of protection for taxpayers. What Mark Golding did, you know what? Let me touch something to people, reality, and wake up the people them in terms of showing Jamaican people who Andrew Holness really is. Remember that Mark Golding is the person who draft and refine the Integrity Commission Act, right, for 2017. You usher it into law. But what the people don't understand, people are talking that then it is not, don't it is Andrew Holness put it in law, because you did not have a choice. Here why you did not have a choice, and I want the people to go back and Google it and look. You did not have a choice, because at the time, as it relates to the electoral map, you got 32 seats and PNP have 31 seats. So you never have a choice. You never have a choice. You have a very strong opposition. So you never have any choice. So then I am talking to your supporters. Don't believe that Andrew Holness willingly wanted to do that. It is Mark Golding brainchild in refining the Integrity Commission Act. But we get that out of the way. But Mark Golding, right, wanted more checks and balance. Because Mark Golding decided, said, no, based on how the system stay, we have to put in more laws, more stringent laws to keep a check on politicians. So what Mark Golding did was now wanted to work on what you call an impeachment bill. Which Mark Golding, right, decided to work on an impeachment bill. Now watch this now, Jamaican people. He passed the Integrity Commission Act, as I said, based on the electoral map 32 to 31. Now watch this now. In 2020, right, during that period of time, he hit down the impeachment bill. Let me ask the question. Does this seem like somebody who wants checks and balance? Not only that, he moved aggressively in doing what? Move aggressively in doing what? He moved aggressively, right, as it relates to muzzle the Integrity Commission Act. Muzzle the Integrity Commission. By passing Section 53, subsection 3 to silence them. Does this look like somebody who wants checks and balance? Andrew Holness, during the period of time, had gone to workshop, Integrity Commission workshop, right? And he knows everything as it relates to the certification of statutory declaration and all of that that Andrew Holness went through as it relates to Integrity Commission workshop. So now watch this now. In 2020, right? Before 2020, Andrew Holness made a very serious move. What was the move that Andrew Holness made before 2020? Before 2020, Andrew Holness made a move to take away the PAC and the PAAC from the People's National Party. Where it is Bruce Golding, right? Make sure that when he was in power, as a matter of fact, created by Bruce Golding, who decided that, okay, some level of transparency must done. The opposition must share the PAC and the PAAC committee. Now, Portia Simpson came in. And when Portia Simpson looked on the policy, Portia Simpson said, this is a good policy as it relates to checks and balance. And Portia Simpson is for checks and balance. What did Portia Simpson did? Portia Simpson said, yes, I am going to ride with this because the opposition need to have it. What Portia Simpson did, Andrew Holness, Portia Simpson gave it to you. You were on the cabinet. Portia Simpson Miller gave the PAC and the PAAC to you, Andrew Holness. To you. To show you how fair and transparent Portia Simpson was. You don't want to come out and tell the people them that. The people them need to do them research and know, say, Portia Simpson had given you the PAC and the PAAC. Yes, you have gotten it. But what you have done now when you won? I'm just showing you criminal behavior, you know? Or your criminal mindset. What you have done when you won, Andrew Holness? Boom! 2019. Attack it. We want the PAC. We want the PAAC. Because guess what? They are not to have oversight and government expenditures. We need to rub up our thing through procurement and do our thing and breach this and breach that and blah, blah. And we don't want them understand what we are doing or know what we are doing. And so Andrew Holness, they make an attempt of fighting on the people, the civil society, call you out on it, in 2019. Remember now, Andrew Holness, remember? And said, no, that's wrong. That's wrong. Also, Bruce Golding called you out and said, no, that's wrong. Do you hear what I say? This is how you respond. You said that, okay, all right, them now have adequate meeting, and as a matter of fact, you understand, they will use it as a strategy to embarrass the government. Then, I mean, if you're not doing anything wrong, why are you afraid of embarrassment? Look at that, people. Look at how, you know. If you are not doing anything wrong, and remember, Bruce Golding said, you know, Bruce Golding said, right, an administration, right, shouldn't be worrying about the opposition, you understand, is going to point them out. You understand our embarrassment. That is the cut and thrust of democracy. Because if you are doing things that the opposition, right, is going to call you out, guess what, Andrew Holness, if you never know? Because it just seems like you don't understand the definition of opposition. It simply means that they are there to oppose you constructively. And so then you can't take away that from them. Remember, let me remind you what you said. You said for every Jamaican, it is the right of every Jamaican. This is when you were in opposition, you know. Let me give you the history. This was when you were in opposition, and that's why I always play the clip in terms of when Mystic Sensation started. When you were in opposition, what did you say? You say that every citizen have the fundamental right to critique the government and must critique the government, right? If the government is not doing the people's will, and that you say, that is what you said, and that is what we are doing. And then you are there now on your political platform that we are uttering misinformation, disinformation, and you are now sound so threatening that when you answer, when you respond to certain people, them have to be fair. Eh? So then why, the question that I'm asking you, why were you telling us when you were in opposition, you understand, to critique the government? Why were you telling us to critique the government? Because you're in opposition. You're in opposition. Eh? So you see how, as it relates to you, will do anything for power by any means necessary. Because guess what? You are now executing what we call animal farm, and you are the actor Napoleon the pig. So now you are now subscribing to laws in a very convenient manner. But when that law oppose you and caught you up with your wrongdoing, no, it ought not to be done. The critiquing me negatively, misinformation and disinformation and all of that. But let me give you a recommendation, Prime Minister. Let me make a suggestion. If you are going to say that social media, right, is critiquing you negatively as according to you, don't you think it will be transparent if you point out the issues that we are critiquing you about and you know why you believe that it is negative, so that now you can give us a chance to know specifically what you are speaking about and we can address you specifically, particularly when we can show the evidence? Why don't you do that? You're not going to do that because you're a fake. You're a fake. And so then when time, checks and balance face you, you have a problem with checks and balance. You have a very serious problem with checks and balance. So then let us move on now. So then you made an attempt in 2019, right, to take away the PAC and the PAAC from the People's National Party. Right? Civil society cry out to you and you stop. But in 2020, guess what happened, Jamaican people? Yeah, man, 2020, real big man a road. So 2020, right? Of course, you know the win. You understand? 49 seat. Right? And so then, yeah, man, big and powerful, them can't talk to me. Them can't talk to me. Well, I'm going to give it to them. Because a long time I want this, you know, a long time I want to take with the PAC from them, you know, and PAAC from them, you know. We don't want nobody watch it. You understand? I know we have to, you know, we have to run with wrongdoing. We don't want nobody watch it. We don't want no checks and balance. You understand? So 2020, give me this. Give me this. You take it away from the PNP. Opposition. Now move up. We're going to show you your behavior. Now we have Melissa. Right? And guess what? All the donations coming in, insurance money coming in. Woo! Hey. No, sir. Me no have to go check out the ODPM. Me want that under my management. As so much money are going there. No, sir. Me have to control that. So you what I go to know? Me I go make done on this Google Gaga. Who don't have no skills? His skill set in that particular area in terms of inventory management. Eh? And have no skills in terms of auditing. He's not an accountant. So you use Google Gaga to concoct a lie to say that now Google Gaga, because this is what you're saying. As a result of Google, this is, as a matter of fact, this is what Draws Davis said. This is what Draws Davis I tried to justify you. This is Mr. Brilliant. Mr. Brilliant, because the rest of you are done, you know, only him brilliant. This is what Mr. Brilliant said. You understand? That as a result of Dan Anderson findings, the Prime Minister made a decision to do what? To move the leader from Adpen and bring him into the office and take an army person. You understand which part, of course, you can order him, you can do him, you can push him around and blah 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 because him doing no bullshit. And so then guess what now? You know, after you move out the director of Adpen, put him in your office, you are now asking the army person, you understand, to take advice from him who you move out of Adpen. For what? For what? For strategies and policy guidelines. So, you take out the Adpen director, put him in your office. The technocrats supposed to be in Adpen. And you take an army person when you know bullshit. And now have the army general, have the person who take out the Adpen to provide strategy. Right? I don't understand that. Remember, you know, Google Gaga never fail him organization. Google Gaga fail him institution, you know. So how you are using back to do that when Google Gaga went fail him? Does that make sense to you? Does that make sense to you? So then now, here we are. You came out in a press conference and show yourself and your entire administration under the bus. What did you say to the public? Let me ask you a question. What did you say to the public, Andrew Jones? You said to the public, and we all heard you, right? I am not saying that ADPEM doesn't have an inventory management system. That is what came out of your mouth, right? I don't know if them have, but you are the Prime Minister. You understand? Although me can't take your word, but me just say what you say. Now, based on your utterance, stated that you people are in the process of developing an inventory management system. What does that mean to me? Another critical listener. It simply means that you are saying that you don't have that system in place. You are in the process of doing it. And as soon as it's done, it is going to appeal to checks and balance. What is it that you are saying to us? So let me ask you now. How many inventories? Because, okay, the system is not up and ready yet. Can you tell Jamaica, right, the totality of the inventories in ADPEM without an inventory management system? Can you tell Jamaica? Can you come out and tell Jamaica how many inventories flow into that system? And can you tell Jamaica how much have already come out? How much have already come out? And we would like to see the balance sheet of that. Would like to see, okay, all right, X amount was received, X amount delivered, the remaining amount is this. And so then when an audit done, let me teach you now, when an audit done, if X amount that you receive and X amount that you give, whether through PI, perpetual inventory, right, or you want to do physical counting, and we realize that what you receive and what you give out, they are missing quantities which we call variances. those variances now have to be investigated. Do you have that system in place? No, sir. No, sir. So then, your delay in terms of not yielding to Mark Golding's suggestion, not looking into the question of Deion Jackson, not looking into the question of Zara Burton, the curiosities of these thinkers, saying to you, why have you not yet, the operative word, set up that particular task force that can provide oversight? I don't understand something. How comes ADPEM being in operation and ADPEM doesn't have a solid inventory management system? Prime Minister, how long this has been going on for? How long? That ADPEM, right, has not considered to have an inventory management system so that proper checks and balance. So these are the questions that we are asking, right? These are the questions that we are asking. So let me show you something now, Prime Minister. Let me now show you in terms of your behavior, because we have to get to your behavior, you know. We have to get to your behavior. And we want to correct your behavior. So let me just show the people them something now. Let me just get into the share document, right? All right. And let us go here. Let us go here. What is this one here? Okay. All right. Okay. Let us hear from you, Prime Minister, if you are dealing with the true sense of democracy. Let the people let me hear you.
Pray to God to continue to keep me and the Jamaica Labour Party firm and strong. I pray to God to give me the energy we need to keep Jamaica and our people firm and strong. Now, I hear that they are going to have protests for manufactured rage and crises that don't exist. Well, I want every Labourite to protest against this hypocrisy tomorrow. I want every Labourite, wherever you are, to protest in your workplace, to protest in the market, to protest wherever you are of the bad mindism of the PNP that is trying to bring down the progress of the people. Stand up, Labourites. Stand up for justice. Stand up for truth. Stand up against the PNP. There was a time when the playbook of the PNP used to make Labourites afraid. Is a different Labourite you're looking on today. Labourites are proud of their party.
Now, people, now when you look at this and you hear that, even from the Prime Minister, it's a crying shame. Crying shame. what the Prime Minister had done with that statement is to crush democracy. Right? Is to show you how the Prime Minister ate very much to be critiqued. And right in and there, the Prime Minister's statement is so polarized. It is now them, the GLP, and us, the PNP. Is the Prime Minister creating that sort of gutter politics. But when the Prime Minister was in opposition, the Prime Minister was asking Jamaicans to critique the government. So how can we fathom that? This, I say, mental depravity. Now, let us get into more stuff here. Unbelievable, right? But we have to show, right, as it relates to the Prime Minister stands, doesn't want to be critiqued, doesn't.
Feel will largely guide how you act. And there are a lot of people out there who are deliberately creating misinformation. And my job is to give you the correct information. If you choose not to listen to it, that's your business. But at least the correct information must be out there. I've seen someone say, Prime Minister don't like criticism. Nonsense. Not every opinion makes sense. I am not one who fears criticism. But there are people who fear me when I respond to them. Be assured that I will respond to any nonsense that is put out. Not to be distracted. The critical ones. Because managing information is also an important part of the disaster management. If you allow people to cast your nation into despair and grief, to smother hope, to ignore the heroic efforts that people are making, and to just focus on the negative, then we'll have a negative outlook in a time when we need people to be positive in their outlook about our recovery. So I ask all Jamaicans of good mind and goodwill to stand up to those who are seeking to become popular on negativity.
So I want for people to be mindful in terms of what the Prime Minister, right, is asking his base to do, People, the Prime Minister is asking his base, you understand, to always challenge us, That is what the Prime Minister is instructing his base to do, Right? And the Prime Minister want to do that in a very intimidating manner. Right? But that challenge democracy. I am going to show the Prime Minister something as it relates to when you go against democracy, what transpired and what can happen. Now watch this, people. Let us look at this. Let us look at this, my Jamaican people. And I want the Prime Minister to just bear this in mind, Right? I'm not showing that clip, right, to intimidate the Prime Minister. I am just showing that when you go against democracy, what can happen? Now watch this. Let me make you. Wow. Okay, so apparently it seems like I don't have update. Did I share it? It's not sharing. Can I go here and have it shared? Okay. Okay, here it is. Updates. Hasina sentenced death, but Bangladesh demands India extradite her. Let us read. Recap. Bangladesh International Crime Tribunal has sentenced former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina to death over her government's deadly crackdown on last year's student-led protest. A ruling the Attorney General calls one of the most important in Bangladesh history. The court also sentenced former Home Minister Asaduzzaman Khan to death for his role in the crackdown, and it has ordered the state to confiscate both officials' properties. Bangladesh Foreign Minister has urged India to immediately extradite both Hasina and Khan, who are living in the exile there. India says it has noted the verdict and remains committed to the best interests of Bangladesh people, but has not responded to the extradition. Let me take it away. So, Prime Minister, I am saying to you, be careful how you pushes against the window of democracy. And be careful how you trumpet on people's rights. Because when you are now inveigled or influencing your base to attack people because they are critical of you, and to the fact that those people are critical of you, your base need to attack them. That is the message that you are sending, Prime Minister. That is the message you are sending. Right? Which is a fundamental wrong. Right? When you look on PJ Patterson leadership and the amount of criticism that PJ Patterson had gotten, people know them. Them call PJ Patterson all sort of name. They told all sort of lie. PJ Patterson sold here Jamaica, and it goes on and goes on and goes on. PJ Patterson did not do anything for the 18 years, and it goes on and on, the lies and the critique and all of that. Show me. I want any GLP, including Andrew Holness, to show me one time where PJ Patterson come out and sound the way of Andrew sound and try to deal with polarization of the politics and try to inveigle or influence his base, you understand, to attack anyone who is critical of PJ Patterson. Can you show us one clip where PJ Patterson had done that? Andrew Holness, you're a child. You are a child. You're a child with a box of matches, striking it beside a 1 ton of gasoline. That's how dangerous you are. Honestly. Have you ever seen Portia Simpson, right, influencing anyone, right, to oppose people who are critical of Portia Simpson? Have you seen that? No, this is a democratic country. You have seen some of your social media vloggers who believe that if anyone critical of you, then people should live in some communist country. And yet, man, certain things will happen to them for your critique the Prime Minister. You understand? You are to be sentenced to death. That is what some of your vloggers them believe in. Right? Came out on social media and vent in that regards. Attacking people who are critical of the Prime Minister as it relates to constructive criticism. And so then, how can that be a good thing? Now, my friend, let me just give 10 minutes for people to call me because, we have to come back later, And as I said, we prepare the best for later to come back with some heavy punches. So, let me just, have people calling, right? If not, then we are going to close and we have to come back later. So please forward later. Let me go into the chat and hear some of the views of the people, right? Yes. Regrettably, the people who are going to be affected the most are the ones who keep voting for corrupt politicians like Andrew Holness. Yes, I believe that, my brother. Right, Brother Mystic, I heard the PM leave the island. Yeah, I'm there in Africa. Right, Hurricane Melissa is very devastating to our people, but it's also a blessing in disguise to expose the evil conman person. I think I want to take a parallel line with that. All right. Gugu Gaga, 39 gun salute instead of 21. Damn idiot. And I him, gone run audit, you know. And him, the Prime Minister used, gone run audit. You see the criminal network, man. You see it. You don't understand it. Crazy. Done. All right. So in the meantime, it is okay to steal, sell out, disappear all they can until inventory system in place. Then that I talk about, Robert. Robert, that I deal with. Because when I look on it, Robert, right, there is no checks and balance in place. Right? The man came out. Because remember, you know, we put up Darrell Vaz, you know. Remember, we put up Darrell Vaz, you understand, over the mess what Darrell Vaz came out and make we know. That's a no inspection run at the airport, you know. You see the same way how Buju pallet came in, right? It is the same way, untouched. Remember that him use that, you know, untouched. So then that simply means that there's no inspection, there's no checks and balance. This is what Darrell Vaz stated, you know, right? So they realize, the system realized it, yeah, in the other person. So guess what? Take him off of the front line. So you said, then take him off of the front line, you know. Take him off. But I believe that the Prime Minister would have come out better and would have done much better. But guess what? No, it looked like him really, the Prime Minister had done worse than even Darrell Vaz. Because now when the Prime Minister talking about ADPEM, you understand? And he's telling us that really and truly, right, you don't have an established, you understand, inventory management system established. And as soon as it happened, while he's saying that, ADPEM had already received tons of inventories. Let me say this. Right? It is the Prime Minister who said that. It is not me who said ADPEM doesn't have inventory management system. But if the Prime Minister said it, and that is true, ADPEM had already received ton loads. Seriously. And we are in Darrell Vaz also saying that for a particular week, we have received over 300 cargo. Over 300 cargo plane landed and delivered. Over 300, you know. Over 300 cargo plane landed and delivered. So then we have to take the word for it. Then if all of them are coming in and them not check. You understand? I mean, what Darrell Vaz just exposed that, hey, the people them who are sending gun and ammunition, yeah man, I right time for it. People, that is what Darrell Vaz tell people them. For those who sending in guns and ammunition, Darrell Vaz just said to them, say, hey, yeah man, I right time for run that thing there now. That man, that thing that can come in now. Rah! Get the thing there. You understand me, sir? So when you look on a statement like that, no, these are the people who are at the helm of our politics, you know. You understand me, I say? These are the people who are at the helm of our politics. So let me just go down in the meantime. Yeah. See some mystic sensation. He paints a picture of mischief making, but on closet inspection, it's really constructive suppression of free speech. Shape me head. What you mean? Same side there. I don't lie you tell. Yeah. You understand? Because again, let me put up Vanessa. Again, Sister Vanessa, we don't look on it. Remember, you know, Sister Vanessa, this is the man who told us when he was in opposition to critique the government, you know. To critique the government. right? Yeah, he was the man who instructed us. So then, I mean, he has to be a big old dirty hypocrite, right? Quite hypocritical. That's why I call him Napoleon the pig, animal farm business him running up. I'm so right in terms of animal farm. Yes, them carry them animal farm behavior straight in the parliament. Because look now, look on Juliet Owners, being the Speaker of the House. When Mr. Brown was now explaining certain things as it relates to, right, the situation, right, pertaining to Melissa, right, affecting the island. Never reached landfall yet, you know, affecting the island. And concern as it relates to land silage and certain things and railway, blah, 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 right? What Mr. Brown wanted to bring across at the time was to the fact that, look, there are contractors who are complaining that they have not been paid. And if you are going to use them as it relates to the coming system, right, then you need to clear up the debts of these people so that they feel the need that, you know, to work because what owed to them being paid to them. But Juliet Owners now have it. No one, Mr. Brown exposed, you understand, that information because the government look bad. Can you imagine contractor from Melissa time, you know, not get no pay. You understand? And they want to suppress it. Okay. But what have we seen yesterday? Juliet Owners is reminding, right, Mr. Brown to obey standing orders. No, this is what the standing orders say, and you have to obey it. Okay. What happened now as it relates to Peter Bunting, you understand, as the chair committee, right, doing their thing in the Senate. No, Juliet Owners, the breach, the standing order in there. And Juliet Owners in there. Hey, we can't make up them something. The breach standing order. That Peter Bunting have to say, no, man, I don't saw it go. I don't saw it work. You don't have to obey them thing, yeah. You have to obey them thing, yeah. You understand what I said? When you're in the parliament, you have to, you know, I mean, trust me. So, I mean, that's strong example of what we're talking about. You know, they don't like to be critiqued. Right? But they are willing and ready, you understand, to point out the opposition. But when you point them out, no problem. No problem. So, I mean, that's how it is, my sister. Okay, and Brittany said, and I am saying, don't let the donated food sit there and rot while the people are, hey, you know, say what Brittany says, so you understand, I'm very serious. So go to the white, very serious. Because me, I get to understand people, right? That, you know, say, a lot of people don't know this, you know. Melissa last year, 2024, let me say it. We never get a direct hit, right? So there are certain parameters as it relates to the catastrophic ban that need to be triggered before we get a full payout. But a lot of people don't know that we get some payout from Melissa as it relates to, you know, 1 and 2 other parameters that may have met. We get some money. We get some money. A lot of Jamaican people don't even know how the money they're going to people. And not only that, we get some money, we did get some aid. We did get some aid. And what's some people in terms of where I'm going? Some of them aid they never give out. And we hear say, no, some of them aid they're rotten. But watch this now. Let me say this before we speak this. You know. I don't have no evidence of what I'm going to say with this. But I am just thinking that the other day I saw the government came out and talk about 4 containers being stolen. You understand, with food and so forth and so forth. And I said to myself, okay, all right. If you have an area where the government provide to store contaminated food within the process of destroying those contaminated food because you don't want it reach back out there in the society, right? Shouldn't that area properly protected with cameras and might be security? So the question that I am asking, how did you have those 4 containers being stolen? I'm just asking these questions. I am wondering if, as I said, I have no evidence. So I'm wondering if, is it a situation where food that were stored for Melissa and expired be now utilized, right, in the, the new stream of things relating to Melissa? And those food that might be stored for burial, right, is now putting into the system as it relates to expiry date and all of them something that, as I say, I have no evidence. But trust me, with this government, yeah, anything is possible. Anything is possible. And I'm considering if that is one of the factors. And here why I am considering if that is a factor. How could, I don't understand how someone could have stolen 4 containers of contaminated food in an area that I would believe have some sense of security. And if not, CCTV. Then put it this way then. Let us put it this way. Let us think critically. So if the government is going to store contaminated food and put them in an area where there is no CCTV or no camera, and where, of course, people can break into and do, whatever, would that be responsible, right, as it relates to the government? That wouldn't be responsible. The government wouldn't be acting appropriately. So based on these concerns that I have, number one, as it relates to, how could those containers be stolen if you have security and CCTV? However, them say it's stolen. Them say it's stolen. But we also have information that there are food stuff that's stored from burial time. Eh? So I wonder if they are performing FIFO. And what is FIFO? First in, first out. Right? So when you look, if they are getting new stuff right in, and they are taking that new stuff and converting it to them personal use, would it a situation that they are mixing, taking stuff from the past as it relates to Melissa and fuse it into, as I said, I don't have any evidence, but I'm thinking on the basis of me, challenging the system and saying, how could this be? How 4 containers can be just stolen in mid-air? You understand? And no formal checks and balance around them situation. If you're going to have container, you understand, store in a contaminated storage area, shouldn't that the government is responsible enough to protect, you understand, the health of people? Me don't understand how the government perform. So then now me have to ask this question and think about this situation. Because yes, the possibility of that can happen if you never issue out the burial donations that you have gotten. And then the question is going to ask, why didn't you issue them out? You got them to issue. Now let me ask again now. Is it the same process, delaying process happening with Melissa? Some of the items that got this way enough you got. Some people I get that. Right? Some of no business friend them I get that. I don't know, because to follow prudency, one would say for checks and balance and transparency, bringing the opposition, your task force, oversight, you understand, having a damn well good, robust, you understand, inventory management system. But if the government is not taking any form of urgency right? In having these checks and balance, what are we to think? As it relates to critical thinkers, what are we to think? Now let me just go down the line. I say now, me just say, right? Me just say that. Again, Brittany said, country doesn't respect the people of our democratic system. Yeah, because we see signs of that. He doesn't. And I do agree with Brittany. He doesn't. Right? My brother Marjorie said this man is a damn shame. You know me, I go back up on that in the Marjorie. Now, let me hear what Robert said, criminal JLP Andrew have no integrity, honesty, dirty. All right. I understand the frustration. So, right now, Andrew I'm taking enough time to realize that he cannot instigate crime amongst the nation. That is what I'm saying, Peter. In terms of, you can't try to deal with a polarization behavior, right? In terms of the politics, and then you are telling them. You understand? You're so-called throwing red meat to your base. You understand that? Of course, the Prime Minister instructed we that we can go out and anyone that critique the Prime Minister, you understand? Then of course we can become critical of them because they are critiquing the Prime Minister. And you don't rationalize the argument for yourself. I would like a GLP person, you understand, come. That's why if a GLP person right into my chat, you understand, I'm not going to block him, if he's behaving appropriately and so forth and so forth. No, I don't take that side of politics. I don't do that. You understand? I can stand and I can speak to a GLP person, you understand, because I see him as a Jamaican, he's a Jamaican. You understand? We don't have that sort of, you understand, political vendetta. That okay, because you vote for GLP, then all right, Mystic Sensation, hate you. No, that is not our politics. We pursue our politics as it relates to the policy position. You understand? As we believe that, okay, art, when it comes to right wealth, everyone must have the equal opportunity. You understand? As it relates to policies. And everyone must treat it equally and fairly. Right? So you need to understand democratic socialism in that regard. So when we say we defend democratic socialism, we don't believe that the economy must build from the top down. We believe that the economy must build from the bottom up. We believe that investment must be done as it relates to the working class of people. You have to invest into human skills and talent, education. That is how you build. So then, for me, and many of my supporters who in my chat, they really don't interested about the macroeconomics. Yes, the macroeconomics is good. You understand? So that, of course, we can have good credit stand. We understand all of that. We understand all of that. But the microeconomy is what really and truly drive the spirit of the economy. People want to know, say, all right, the inflation is going down, right? And purchasing power is rising. And that is one of the reasons why we are saying to you, Andrew Honest, don't make the decision there in terms of going to China to buy 5,000 to deal with 5,000 container. You understand? Utilize the NHC program, put people to work. You understand? Create purchasing power for them. You understand? Because you know the status of the economy. You understand? You have the opportunity now, Andrew. You understand where you can borrow from the IMF, right? Where you can borrow from the World Bank, right? And other lending agencies because of the situation that you understand that we are dealing with. Because you want to get the economy up and running. So then one of the most prudent thing to do is to what? Utilize the opportunity in a very effective way. And so then if you are going to utilize the opportunity in terms of borrowing loans to, you understand, ignite that fire in the economy, right? You want our people to best benefited from that. Right? You want our people to be best benefited from that. And so then you have an opportunity now to, when you look on the entire hurricane belt, you know much construction worker, if you utilize NHT program, you understand, and make them get the money, you know much construction worker, you help this up. But why you want to circumvent them? Why you want to circumvent them? Why you want to circumvent? They must suffer already, you know? They must suffer. And you have the opportunity to utilize many loans. Now, that's why I say later, I am going to show which part, you know, based on what they are saying now, you understand, $1.3 trillion. As it relates to, okay, may I get a call, let me just answer the call. I love when I get the calling them, you know. Yes, caller, you're on Mystic Sensation Live, go ahead.
Yeah, man, I'm Bolo. You hear me good?
Yes, Bolo, go on, my brother.
Why, Bridget, me never when I go call in, but you touch on one point a while ago about the construction work of them.
Yes.
Something when I been up on my live stream them.
Exactly.
The government gather all skilled workers, especially in the area where affected.
Aye.
Contract demand them. Build back the people out as fast as possible, repair if repair.
Don't Bolo.
People are most vulnerable and affected already. You understand? You have people in a pockets who are doing them work. They big up brother when they're bigger than. You have a small team where I work with me seeing on TikTok, thinking I'm an artist. And he might repair people out, he might use people money from overseas, you know?
Yeah.
Donors and them stuff there. And he have some man I work with him. He have an ex-bridge, you know, me see. But down Westmoreland, Dr. Dayton Cameron must highlight him. He might build back people also free. I am saying the government can link these people and put them together, organize them, give them the resources, get the people in roof over them head, brother, and make a centralized place where whole heap of people can hold. Right? And they can try to get people in the outside and asleep in the elements, children and women and you understand?
Exactly.
People, same way.
And you know, you're making some strong points, Bolo. Because again, I mean, when it said utilize the hurricane belt, you understand, and make in terms of utilizing as it relates to having construction workers, right, get into that zone, right, and try to rebuild, put back some life in the economy. Yes.
That way they can put some money and boost the economy and put some money in people in pocket.
You mean?
Our money anyway.
Our money. Then we have to pay it back.
Put the money there, so.
Bolo, every loan borrowed. I don't know if Andrew Wallace believes it's a him. Every loan that borrowed that we and me and you have to pay it back in a Bolo. You understand? But as I said,
that's true.
Yeah.
Exactly. So why shouldn't we benefit from it?
You know that man try to show Bolo.
For the rebuild. You're absolutely right. That's a great point.
Yeah.
That's a great point.
Every loan that borrowed, right? You and I have to pay it back. So it's our money. So then make we get the benefit of it. All right, Bolo, when you look on this now, what's this now, Bolo? Let me reason. The man is going to China. You understand? Want to pursue, as according to him, 5,000 container homes. Right?
Yeah.
And I show a certain thing because I did a research, right? In terms of if the amount of obstacles that you have to go through, you understand, to make them partially hurricane proof. That is going to be very costly. No, you can't have those containers and just put them down on a location like that without having, you understand, those additional structure, you understand, attached. Now, this is what I'm saying, Bolo. If you're talking about construction,
What I want to add to that is you also have a factor in the terrain.
Exactly.
They're prone to flooding and them something.
Aye. So that is where I was coming to. Bolo, as a government, right? Wouldn't you have done a feasibility study as it relates to the container homes and how much they can sustain as it relates to a category 5 hurricane? Wouldn't you have done that as a government?
Of course.
Well,
also, what you could do is find out where's the best place to actually put them for them to be less affected by flooding or hurricane winds.
Exactly.
Or if you construct them in another way there.
Exactly.
Because as I say, you can't just put them in a place where just get ravished a while ago.
No. Because obviously it's like a death trap you're setting for the people. You couldn't be doing that.
Andrew Owners is very skillful, you know. In one end, he might taking time for do logistics to get the food out. And now upon this end, he might rush this without the feasibility study where you talk about to make thing make sense. And this one is more of a long-term plan.
Exactly.
It's like he might work in a reverse. When it comes out to people that get food and water, they have to just move and just do it fast.
That's exactly what he's doing.
But now when it comes out to housing, he want to move and do it fast without any real thinking and structure around the thing. This is the part of it where you have to do some thinking. And you need everybody to come together to do the thinking, brother. It's not just you alone and the government.
Wonderful point.
Scientists out there, you have people who know the weather, climate change people. Everybody needs to come on board, just like when PNP said.
Yeah.
Right? We need a national effort. Everybody has to be on board.
There you go.
And instead of coming and cursing us out and threatening us, why don't you listen to some of the ideas that we are putting out there?
But I want
sense ideas and implement them.
I want to tell you something, Bolo. I played a clip with the one of the representatives from World Bank. And they are saying that their data collection involving social media, you know, data, you know.
Thank you very much, Mystic. I'm glad you made that point there.
Yeah.
Because when I was watching it, I said the same thing. I said, hold on. No, we the same flag and them when them are cuss.
Yeah.
Our picture them are used to assess damage.
Yes. Yes.
We the same flag and them when they say, you know, if you listen to them.
Aye.
So how comes our material are used to study now to make assessment but how to move forward?
There you go.
It seems as if we're bringing some value.
Exactly. Exactly. Right? Exactly. That's my point.
My God.
Yeah, man.
My God. Why did I tell them? This man,
I mean, if you man. All right. Blessings, my brother. Blessings. All right. Cool. All right. Awesome. Yeah, man. Love that call from that input from Bolo. And people remember, you know, go over there and give Bolo strength. You understand? The man go on with things. No, so that is what we are talking about. Okay. Andrew Owners haven't taken enough time to realize that he can't not instigate. Yeah, because we've gone through that already. Someone was asking me to play that clip mistake, but okay. Well, Rosalie Ricketts said this man need a mental checkup. I want to tell you, say, right, that looked like a true, and it seems like Bola responded to her. Said exactly. Right? Okay. This man never looks in the mirror to examine his heart, mind, and soul. He's evil. I already come to that conclusion a long time now. You understand? 100% pure evil. I'm not take about that. Right? Mercy, the level of arrogance. Yo, trust me, I'm not a liar. Film arrogance taller than Blue Mountain that measure 7,402 feet above sea level. Remember me tell you that. He has steered 8 within the system. Yeah, Georgia, no doubt. No doubt. You understand what I deal with film type of political rhetoric, right? No, Peter Flynn, right, said the very people that he says that he has sinned against. You remember that Peter? You remember Seaga? Are the very ones he's asking to help him cover up his own crimes. Not the people he's doing, but his very own, in his own words, for the record. Simpson. That's it there, Peter. That's it there. Watch that, man. Blessed, good afternoon, Sir Byron. Blessing to you, my brethren. And of course, look at PJ now, living out his blessed golden senior years. Yeah, man, I want to tell you. Well, let me tell you something, you know, man. He's one of the political icon. You understand? One of the political icon. And, you know, of course, Bolo gives input again. Unbelievable incompetence. Yeah, definitely. Right? And now, so isn't anyone along with Bruce can get under Andrew's skin to do the right thing, step up or step down? They just talking, as if they are afraid of him. Now, Moon said that, Emsra, Rita, you have to understand. Let me show you something, because you see, sometimes, right, we know that, of course, if it was our will to get rid of Andrew Holness by the strike of a finger, yeah, man, him gone a long time. But you have to understand the system too, Ms. Rita, right? Because, all right, even the opposition, let us take it from the opposition so we can provide some understanding, right? Even the opposition is there to oppose, but also the opposition opposing the opposition has to be careful, right? Because the opposition doesn't want to be appearing as an obstructionist, you understand, to a legitimate government. We have to be careful with that, right? Because remember, they can spin it in the way they want to spin it. They are the legitimate government. You understand what I say? So we have to be careful. We have to, identify the things that are wrong, and we can speak to them. Not that we can try to, like we want to topple the government. You understand? We can't have the approach there, right? We can't have the approach there, right? And so then we can just give instructions, give guidance, right? Educate, right, people, and people. Remember, here's the thing now. I'm just going to say something. I'm going to read between the lines. You see, people power is the greatest. You see, when the people unite in one accord, changes can happen. I want to forget what I said. When the people unite in one accord, right, changes can happen. As opposed to say, well, all right, the opposition, you understand, doing this and going out there and doing that. And no, the opposition doesn't want to be appearing as an obstructionist, as I said. And so then the opposition has to be very, 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 very much careful with that. You understand? At the end of the day, right, remember, what people need to remember, that when it comes to Mark Golding, the man brilliance in a normal, remember again, if it wasn't for Mark Golding, as it relates to the constitutional reform, I want to remind you people something. Right? Andrew Holness, you understand, would have woodwink the Jamaican people. It is Mark Golding who identified these things and put it out and said, no, we have to stop it. It can't work. And remember, that Mark Golding, each time and any time Mark Golding carry him to court, you know who they go win that. He has never won one against Mark Golding. Right? So when time I hear some people, yeah, you may understand people frustration, because people frustrated, and yes, we understand all of that. But again, you have to understand the politics. Yeah, you have to understand the politics. All right, let me give you an example, right, so that you can fully understand. If you're looking at United States, right, as it relates to the Democrats and the Republicans, what Donald Trump is doing in the Caribbean. Remember, the Democrats, them go against it, oppose it. It is not like they can't stop Donald Trump the way they, because Donald Trump, the Republican, is the legitimate government. And so then while Donald Trump lack, you understand, in terms of, may I go attack Venezuela, the opposition, Democrats, them could attack them weak. They will not stop at Donald Trump if Donald Trump, you understand, hell bent in pursuing that. They can't stop him. So you have to understand the similarity, you understand, with that situation as it relates to Mark Golding being the opposition in Jamaica. You understand? They are in opposition. They are in opposition. They are there to oppose and ensure they hold the government as it relates to checks and balance. So one has to understand that. You understand? I've heard many vloggers, right, eating out, and Mark Golding have to do this and Mark Golding have to do that, and they don't really understand the system of politics, right? And Mark Golding sit there and nothing done, and sometimes when I hear it, it turn Mr. Monk. Honestly turn Mr. Monk. I say, boy. And each time we have to come and we have to try to explain and try to educate, and you understand, people still go back out there. Yeah, Mark Golding this. Look how this man said this. Mark Golding now, rare. Come on. Come on. You understand? One government at a time. One government at a time. Right. Okay. Sir Mystic, you are saying Darrell is in the naughty corner. Yes. In the naughty corner. Right? Put him in the naughty corner. You think we're afraid? Don't run put me alone, some, you know. When me alone, some I put people in the naughty corner, you must know. You must stay in the naughty corner. Me alone, some wrap him up and put him in the naughty corner. Him can't come out and say certain things loosely. You understand? And we just strap him and put him in a naughty corner. I forget a little strap and put him in a naughty corner. Him stay over there. And anytime I come back out, Darrell Vaz, you better try to behave yourself. Right? Because we have, remember, you know, we have a file, you know. And if you come out and you run up your mouth, remember one, you know. If you come out and you run up your mouth too much, you know. Remember, we are going to dig more in the 110 bus. Because Darrell Vaz, you get $1.4 billion, you know, and a 60 bus. We see, you know, so far, you know. You understand? So, when you run out again, you know, remember that we are going to figure out, you know. So, stay in your naughty corner and behave yourself. Out there and bright. You have to deal with it like how it is. Yeah. Byron, why is Amber Group leading St. Elizabeth package delivery? Problem that, Papa. Jesus, peace. Hold on there. Our out of many, one people start all of this as something for man. People know you out of many say. You understand? Amber Group the sinner. Amber Group the sinner. Now, but hold on there. Hold on there. Out of many. You trigger something in my brain now. Let me tell you. remember say in 2019 or 2020, no, the Amber Group gave Andrew Holness $5 million US. You remember? Remember good man. Out of many. Amber Group gave Andrew Holness administration $5 million US, you know, to support the Jamaica Labour Party campaign. 2019, he didn't get it. So to support the 2020 campaign. So now, make we ask Amber Group, how much Amber Group is now going to give, you understand, as it relates to Hurricane Melissa. Dushanti Savadia, me no hear you go on certain platforms saying you love Jamaica and what Jamaica has done for you. What are you doing for Jamaica? Let me ask you that question. I like how Otamene bring up this. What are you doing for Jamaica? Amber Group. Amber Group, you are giving Jamaica Labour Party, right, $5 million US. Right? In 2019. Right? And you claim that, okay, Jamaica has done well for you. Now it's your time now. What are you doing for Jamaica? And I will leave you with that question. Thank you, Otamene. I love that. All right. Good evening, Mystic Sensation and Lady Ann. Yeah, man, she upstairs go and yuk the dinner. You know, mom's up to the bubble some stew, please. And then everyone else on the chat. Yeah, man, big up yourself, Richard. All right. Roshan needs a generator for her constituency, and she have to buy one. Basically, that's what bright little star is saying. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Now, Mayor Andrew Holness I run out, you know. And I say, a 500 generators. He got, you know. Andrew, be careful. Andrew, be careful. And a 500 generator you get. And you know, say, and a 500 you get. And a 500 generator you have. You have over 1,000 generator. These are the lies that we are talking about in a video, you know. And again, you know, so hold on, is that Ken Aroram now you know, Andrew. You understand? Because I heard you, you know, came out and said you have 500 generator. And a 500 generator you have. You have over 1,000 generators, and we can prove it. And as a matter of fact, you know what? Let me finish this. You understand? I'm going to work on that for Tuesday. For sure you say. Again. And you know what? You know where it goes now, Andrew Holness? It gone back to ad Pemino. Why you said this is gone back to ad Pemino? Because here you are, saying that it's only 500 generators you have. Right? Now, ADPEM, all of that would have passed through ADPEM. You know. This is why we talk about an inventory management system. So let me ask you a question now. Is ADPEM is going to be in agreement with you, said only 500 generators you got, because I'm going to bust them bubbles in? This is what we are talking about. How much of those generators now move out? Because I see there you open a new camera worm to backside. I open up this bright little star. You understand? Bright little star is another camera worm. You open saying. Because you know some Mystic Sensation is going to ask the critical questions. Because since you came out and you said it's only 500 generators, me hearing, as a matter of fact, we said Tuesday, we go research, show the clip, and show you where you are saying. And then we show you say more than 500 generators you have in Andrew. You have over 1,000 generators in. So then, how much of that generators being recorded as it relates to ADPEM? Understand what I talk about? Understand what I talk about? So that means the bangarang start already. If you don't come out and say 500, when we know some more than 500 generators you have, the bangarang start already. Andrew Wallace, the bangarang start already. And that is why you move out. You understand the man from out of ADPEM. But I'm sorry for you, you know. So I don't know where you go tell God say. Now, come move on. All I can do is pray for the well-being of all Jamaicans who are facing such ungodly situations in Jamaica. God have merciful to your children. Thank you for that, Elaine. Right? Really endorse that. Right? And see what Liberisa said, oh, not do it. Right? Libre respect for the say, please like up the live, no man, like up the live. Make you feel good, no man. Sure. Hi, Elaine. How are you? Sometimes let me try to make everybody get, you know, a little, right, ears. Have a blessed rest of your day, you know. All right. Now we go in a day. All right. This one said, everyone knows he's a soldier because this is a war of good over evil. So be prepared. After a calm, there's a storm. You know, some love the phrase, Peter. Really and truly, you know. Bring me to a different vibes right about now. Love it. Yeah. All right. Elaine Turner. Oh my, Joan Bailey, I greeted you earlier, sis. Had a small bit of family issues, you know. Nothing I can't handle. Blessings. And we wish you all the best, right, in terms of, you know, that. Okay, let me see what I want to know. I'm just saying this is so it will be easier to sink off a large bulk of relief. Well, yeah, you want to go on with it. Andrew want to run out and talk about 500 generators, map. But me and him, you understand? Yeah. Me alone, so I got to dig him out. You see me I deal with? Now, Robert Phillip, yeah, I'm just saying this is so it will be easier to sink off a large bulk of relief. Start already to backside. Mystic them soon hide Commander Gay like how them hide Daryl. I think well, me say Damian Crawford. You understand? They ask him some questions in the Senate and the man don't even know him head from him foot. To be honest. Right? Bowler said she showed zero respect. All right, Bowler. Right? The Worms made themselves king and queen. The Wellnesses made themselves king and queen. And a lie. And then I said them a behave. You know, a monarchy. And a democracy. A monarchy. I'm gonna say them a behave. And Joan size 14 do not elected officials to talk about the people's business in the people's house. And no bedroom politics. You understand them a deal with in a parliament there. Right? You know, me I go talk the thing, you know, me I go talk it as it is, you know. Right? Georgia said, for them, what's good for the goose will never be good for the gander. For them, oh yeah. You understand? Because when he was in opposition, in the arts Jamaican people now, you understand, for, you know, critique the government. No, him in a power now. You understand? Him no want no criticism. Can you imagine, man? Sick. Right? he did sound really, really dumb and stupid to be in government as Prime Minister. Mighty God of Daniel, I tell you too. All of God of Abraham. Remember me tell you? Bury you mean? Yeah. I mean, okay. All right. So apparently, it seems that I make an error. I made an error, so they were correcting me, saying bury me mean. Yeah, bury me mean. Bury me mean. Okay. All right. Like the zinc in Hurricane Gilbert, stay in the warehouse until they're rotten, dump in the sea. Who hear or know about this? Well, I mean, trust me. I want to say them things, they don't think they're wickedness, man. If you get right certain things for issue out, you understand? It's for them out. Make sure say they are fully issued out. And if you have leftover, right, well, that's fine. But I mean, make sure that everybody who ought to be benefited, you understand, get the necessary benefit that them need to get. Just plain and simple. You understand and deal with. Doing what you want to. That's why it's corruption kills, you know. Kills future, you know. Right? When you have corruption sleeps into that now. You understand? You are going to impede people who really need to get the thing. You understand what I say? Because when we look now, we see X amount of, you understand, aid going to Pernell Charles Jr. house. And through we leak out now, you know. You see him take chuck and come out and what if we never leak out? What if we never leak out? Them things none of it happen. Pernell Charles Jr. We don't know what them the things that they do up at your home at the first place. They should never be there. And that is the matter. You understand? The corruption. When we cite them, we have to call them out and we prevent them. You understand? So we don't know if you call them out. Should we call them out? You understand? They take chuck and you start to blah blah blah. That's why we call it out. Because we want it to be given to the people who it ought to be given. Right? Look on you, nothing to you. You have a big, comfortable house. You understand? You get how much $1 million per year. You understand? And if you want to partake of that, you have no heart. You understand? Me just say, no? Me just say. I have no evidence that you wanted to partake of it. But I'm saying if you really want to partake of that, and know some people are saying, you don't have no heart. But remember, you know, your father don't have no heart, you know. Your father don't have no heart. You're like, I only pay a kidney have. All right. So look on this now. This is what I talk about. Right? Out of many, one people. You can't just steal a 40 feet container just like that. You need a crane and train. Hey, but when you think about it now, out of many. You understand? Out of many, the reason I lose a one-way reasoning. Now, out of many. Based on what I said, I mean, really think about it. But when you think of it out of many, 4 containers. 4 containers. You understand? Gone missing. Out of them. Out of them. And that's what you are saying here. You understand? It is not, well, it is not a light product where can just lift up and might be putting a one chuck back. I'm putting a one car back. So what I wonder now, you know, I wonder say, okay, if you are taking spoiled goods from what's supposed to be buried, right, and them staying at the storeroom, you understand, over the expiry date, right? Simple signal that, okay, right, you are not to consume of it. And you are now intermingle those items, you understand, to give to people, to keep up the new items, right? Because of your corruption. That now can sick people. So then I am wondering if that is some of the cases that might be we yet to hear about. So the government now they try to use a protective mechanism to say people thief it. When they now would be a part and parcel, you understand, of the outbreak of certain bacteria. I'm just saying, because I just really honestly can't understand how 4 containers would just lift up. These are heavy items. You understand? Heavy items that would require, right, trailers or crane. As it relates to what Out of Many is saying. Out of Many is talking truth to power. So consider that. You understand? We don't know for certain things that the government are trying to cover up. Right? I have that feeling too, Sir Mystic. You saw me as a Brittany. Trust me. You can't afford anything from the government, you know. But we have to also say that we have no evidence in terms of that. So we could put ourselves clear, you know, because we want to make sure that we are credible. We are not saying that you know, we are thinking of the possibility. And the reason why we are thinking of that possibility, because we can't see the rationale in terms of 4 containers missing and nobody don't know when it's missing. These are not light things. You understand? And so then it going to take the assistance of a crane or trailer. And she's right. So then how can you have these contaminated food items in an area where you don't have any security and no CCTV? Think about that. Think of what I'm saying, why I formed the basis. You understand of what I'm saying? Right? That the government might be trying to covering up their tracks to the fact that the government themselves pass on old stale food, expiry food to the people, and which now these people are getting sick. Think of that. That is quite possible. Right? Now, Andrew and JP government have no love in them for people. And non-joke. Yes. All right. Okay. Yeah. I said something earlier. Let me correct that. As it relates to Lenny James. When we talk about FIFA, first in, first out. No, it is LIFO. Last in, first out. You understand me? I said that was what I should have mentioned. But, you know, sometimes my brain get hot. It is not like, I don't know. Sometimes my brain get hot and sometimes I say, you understand? If you notice, sometimes I'm not lie, you know. I'm up on the program and believe you me. Sometimes some sort of grammar when I use on the program and when me go back and listen, but I say, really and truly, did I say that? Well, you know, we're up on the program and we are juggling and sometimes we can't really bother to pretty up and too nice and speak his spoke and try to make sure that, okay, a singular sentence bear a singular verb and, you know, a plural sentence bear a plural verb. We want to show you so we know all of that. You understand? So if you see we get mixed up and just make it go on. Don't bother deal with nitpicker. Yeah, man, we're very good enough. We're good at that. We're good at the English, you know. You understand? But we know, you know, pimp and proper, being pimp and proper, and, you know, grammatical. You know, we just cut and go through a Jamaican we are taught to. So this now, the LIFO simply means last in, first out. And FIFO mean first in, first out. So we know this stuff. You understand? So, you know, along the way, we get mixed up with that in terms of wanted what to communicate at the time. But here is Lenny James. That's why we're saying. There are some brilliant people in the chat. You understand? You have educated people. Well-educated people. But as a matter of fact, right, most of the people who come around Mystic Sensation, you know, it's going on them thing up there. All right. I don't believe the story of food stolen, right? But what I do believe that contaminated is in circulation. Contamination is in circulation. Well, you know what I mean? So basically, the possibility, all right? I think the same way Mystic, those food was from burial. Yeah, because that would make sense. But the government now want to try to, you understand, put out a narrative to protect the government because that's what they have done. Right? And maybe people now being affected. You understand? So they might put out that, you understand, for protect them to say, okay, are people steal the food? You understand what I say? Well, really and truly, no people thief no food. You understand? The government is distributing that out there in the space. Let me say, I have no evidence of that. You don't understand me, you know? Right? We only say our subjective thoughts that we are bringing forward. All right. Okay. See, brother, Bolo said, brother, exactly. I mean, it's very likely, right? It's very likely. Where was those containers put, Sir B? I want to tell you something I don't know, you know. And that's the question I ask. Because, I mean, you ask the question, where would those containers put? I would believe that, okay, all right, for the government to have 4 trailer load, you understand, of contaminated food would want to be put into a secure place. You understand, for the process of elimination. Right? And so then, me not understand that the government would have them and how long the government have them for, and why then the government did not get rid of them, because they are contaminated items. So when I think of all these variables, this is why we have to say we are wondering now if a barrel, you understand, as it relates to donations that were supposed to be given away, right? Or food relief that's supposed to be given away they did not give it away in total, right? And people, you understand, because them think they go on, people. Them think they go on, right? Mystic, I think it's deliberate act. They're trying to kill off our people. Well, to be honest, Melis, I don't know if I would go to that extreme to say, well, all right, it's a deliberate act to kill off our people. But, again, corruption could be part of this. You understand? Because look upon this now. Let me show you a little thing now. What we are looking upon now, Melissa. Andrew Owens, as it relates to what he said, that there is no inventory management system, right? In the warehouse, in ADPEM. But for corruption purposes, if you can take out the ADPEM items, right, and convert it to your personal use, as it relates to Melissa, and then now you try to support that in terms of a backing up with burial, right, expired food items. They will do that. People are corrupt. I'm only telling you how that can be done, or the corruption they can factor in, if you think about it. You understand? Through the process of corruption. So they utilize Melissa product, you understand, and convert it to their personal use. You understand? Why now can take that as it relates to burial food stuff, you understand, to add into the mix. You understand? Claiming that they are giving account. I'm just saying. Right? All right. Let me just read this last one because me have to go ease off, prepare, you understand, some more data and come back stronger, as me say. You understand? Because me already prepare some data and we have come back stronger later. Now, my brother Melting Pot same couldn't forward on the morning session, but definitely Melting Pot is forwarding on the evening session. You understand? So Melting Pot later. You understand? Trust me. So forward my people. Let me just read the last one here. Government need to give out relief aid to suffering displaced Jamaicans while the people at shelters, hungry, thirsty. Jamaican displaces out in the cold element. Yeah, me I tell you, rough, my brother, rough Robert, have shown ID, TRN, green shirt to get food. I see them a lie about it. You saw them a lie about it, Robert. Say them never really, right, utilize an ID process. The government bureaucracy to keep back many of the items, to convert it to their personal use. That's what me believe. You come up with ID system. What you come up with ID system for? For forget some food and forget some water. But the ID system I got. Give the people them what them forget. The people them get it. Them get it for give the people them. So why you not give the people them? But the ID thing for identify what? For ID what? Right? No make no sense. And then now them are denied. But those are some of the bureaucracy that the government utilize, you understand, in terms of just giving, small benefits in terms of limited thing that they want to distribute and keep at the whole bulk for them and their friend. We know it going on. And then we start to see it show up in them friend hardware shop and all sort of. You understand? We know it go. We know the corruption go. So, people, that's it for Mystic Sensation. I want to say big thanks to you, right? Really appreciate you coming out, right? Always support the strength of Mystic. Remember, right? You are the persons who energize us. You understand? Because when we see the support, we say yes. You understand? We put out more energy because we know that, okay, all right, the people are supporting us. And when we are giving you the information, we make sure and ensure that the information that we are giving, you understand, definitely credible. You yourself can search, right, do a Google search, and you can find the information and make it useful, right, for yourself. And this is what we aim to do. No misinformation, no disinformation around here. And if we, in terms of our research and something that, you understand, may have gone wrong in terms of collecting that data and in processing and reprocess it, wrong, we are going to be the first one to come out and apologize, right? Yes. That's who we are, right? Transparency, right? That is what we deal with, checks and balance. So people, see you later. Big up yourself. Love you all. All right.
I know why you come to me with that foolishness, you know. You elect a prime minister, and is a prime minister run the country. It is time we learn to hold our leaders accountable for their actions and stop making excuses for them. Stop making excuses. Otherwise, go elect the people who really run in the country. And I don't want the right start that stupid argument. Hold the people you elect accountable and stop making excuses for them.